So we've kind of already touched on this a little bit. That it's everybody's got their own unique um, issues that they may be dealing with, fears that they're
Yeah,
injuries that they're protecting.
yeah. I see. I'm not so sure that that's necessarily true. Wh- I mean, okay. Yes, it's true that we are unique and that we're one of a kind and so forth, but not for the reason that we think we are. I suspect, Paul. Look, it doesn't make sense that even though the brain is exposed to a myriad of different experiences throughout its life, that myriad of different experiences is going to produce individual reactions within people with similar experiences. In other words, for instance, if somebody grows up in let's say Pratt, Kansas, okay, or in Somestown, Pennsylvania, or uh, in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, there someplace. They're going to be affected by the people with whom they live, with the people around them. Okay, and they're going to have attitudes that are, shall we say, frighteningly similar to other people in that community,
Hmm.
simply because they're in that community and they're trying to prove that how individual they are by dressing different. Um, really?
Right.
Oh,
That's not
I
really
I have
individual.
a different MacBook Pro than you do because I have something on the screen that you don't have.
Right.
See, I don't think that's I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, it might be true. Okay, I'm just like,
Right.
but it's like, for me personally, I have to stop and say, okay, well, okay, where does this difference come from then? Because it isn't on what I have on my screen. I mean, that isn't it.
Right.
So I have to look at that and say, okay, what's the difference in computers really? And it's the difference is in how they're wired. In other words, the difference between a a Macintosh computer and a Windows computer and a Linux computer is because of how they're wired from the very beginning. It's how the operating system itself is set up to function.
Hmm.
That's the difference. Okay. Well, that difference has to do with how that computer manages energy.
Okay. Say that again.
Okay, a Linux computer manages energy differently than my Macintosh computer
Okay.
does.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the same energy. It just
Right.
manages it differently. It has a different energy configuration than my Mac does, or
Hmm.
your IBM does,
Hmm.
or your Windows computer or does. Okay, Android
Yep.
computer, whatever you call it. Okay, because it just simply because it manages energy differently. It's the same energy. Does the same things. It just manages it differently. And so that brought me to thinking about, okay, you know, everybody talks about these auras and so forth. I wonder if it's not really true that that aura has a different energy configuration for people, so that they are uniquely auric. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because those those lines of energy that make up the aura are not they're not random, but what they do and where they go and how they get there is different in every individual. And so when you observe an aura, you can see that there are some people there's a lot of activity that goes through the solar plexus, for instance. And other people there's more activity that goes through the center chakra. And there's some people that just glow red all over their base chakras. and some people are a royal purple in their crown chakras, and some people are pale yellow, and some people have a glow all over them that's green, and some people have a glow all over them that's mottled in colors, and some people have a glow all over them that looks like those damn street lights that look orange and electric and somehow or the other. The phosphorescent or somehow or the other.
Yeah.
Some people have that kind of glow. Very few people, but they have it. See, that they look like that. Insects look like that a lot in their configurations, I think. But it's simply a different way. Everything has a different energy configuration. Some of them are all the same, right? Like with trees, it's always the same. But in us humans, it isn't. So I think that the uniqueness doesn't come from the programming nearly as much as it comes from the pre-programming. It comes with how the computer was wired.
The Program Theory on-demand workshop videos will be available for purchase in our store soon. Follow us on Facebook at Forging Agreement for workshop release date announcements. Links in the description below. Before you go, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to stay up to date on all the new videos.